challenged me. Every day I spend here proves to me how pathetic the inhabitants here are. If I wasn't bound here by that, which I would stake my claim here on this untamed frontier and find a foe worthy of my mettle. I have studied these mortal sentients, their innards, their weaknesses, their strengths and weaknesses. I have learned much. Uh-oh. And then the last one on this section is Memoir on Woodcraft. Okay. Coffins. Back in the Deadlands, coffins were made of rock and metal. Everything was made of rock and metal. But here on mortal soil, wood is in abundance. This alien material is strange to me. It's strong, but strong when sharpened and reinforced, but terribly weak at standing the test of time. Never have I seen a building material rot and decay with such speed. Fire seems to take a liking to the strange material. The lava flows the lava flows of my homeland would incinerate a pitiful mortal forest in mere hours. I've been on this plane for so long that I must be the best wood craftsman of my people. Creating things certainly takes less time with wood. What's funny is that you're probably just going to only end up making, like, coffins or something like that, or something really dumb. Or something really strange. Because, like, seriously, though, like, you say coffins here, so you're probably just going to end up only making wooden coffins or something like that. I've become adept at crafting wooden coffins. I've averaged the size down to a consistent coffin capable of fitting any corpse. With enough pulverizing and bone crushing, of course, mortal blood sacks are so dull. But I do enjoy honing my handiwork on them. I'm starting to run out of space to bury these meat bags. I might have to start burning them, but that would be just mundane. So I'm gonna try and make the same jokes I did before, but obviously it's gonna have less impact now because I already know what's gonna be said now. So that was a joke I made before. Let's see. The next one on the list of things to do is the crumpled orders. Alright, crumpled orders. My executioner, your next targets can be found within the Gerald mines. Your objective is to bleed the pigs, the leadership. Make sure no distress calls or paper communications leave the mines. Silence and slaughter as many miners as you can. I don't care how you do it, just have fun. I'm going to activate the asset. Use the psychopathic chaos to your advantage. Make sure you silence the following targets. Encritus, Prospector General. I guess he's not crossed out, but he is dead. Wesker Harms, Chief Engineer. He is dead, according to the X, I guess. Bjorn Fald Scrag, Foreman of Labor. I'm guessing he is dead as well. Jundla, Foreman of Requisitions. He is... I'm guessing he either turned into a ghoul or he died by not by his hand. Skyg. I don't really care. Foreman of Mechanics. X, so I guess he got him. Belfred Onslow, Chief Medical Officer. He's either dead or a ghoul. I kind of ended up saying, like, we already know he's dead. We saw the skeleton. We got a note specifically from him, kind of thing, saying that he stayed behind while somebody else went to go get him food. I'm speaking as if, like, I've already recorded for hours, but yet, like, to you guys, it's only been, like, a couple seconds. But for this one, I was thinking that he might have either died or turned into a ghoul. This one, if he was the one that was locked behind a gate in the clinic area, which wouldn't make much sense, but we'll roll with it. So if he locked himself in the gate, let's say, then it would make a lot of sense that then we already know that he turned into a ghoul. And the final one, I believe that this one is the memoir on Daedric summonings. While the undead is more of my strong suit, I do find summoning Daedra to be quite interesting. Every now and again, only problem is they always look after their own ambitions, and I'm really not in the mood to catch the ire of a Daedric lord. One mule will be good enough for me. I have successfully conjured a nasty Dramor from the Deadlands. He is a hunter of great beasts, and an outcast amongst his people. He barely even has an allegiance to Mehrunes Dagon. I'm sure old Dagon wouldn't even bat an eye if this one is missing from his ilk. He will be my executioner, my bloody hand, my blood letter. It's nice to have someone to do all the field work, gives me time to my studies, and keeps me in the shadows. It's simple, really. He hones his grotesque taxidermy and hunting skills. And when I need him, I can call upon him to seal up any cracks in my plan and destroy the evidence. And he's a handsome one, too. What a bonus. He fits the mold perfectly. I wonder what this one's about, though, too. It seems kind of strange, though, that she wants something... Like, I'm guessing that this is, oh my god, I forgot her name already. What's her name? Uravesta, yeah. So it sounds like this whole entire thing sounds like Uravesta summoning the huntsman kind of thing. But then this part confuses me, too. And he's a handsome one, too. So he's a handsome Dremora. What a bonus. So what's the bonus part of it? Like, I understand the bonus part is, like, the handsome is the bonus part, but, like, what is this a bonus to? Like, just because, like, you get to, like, you have to look at him kind of thing. So it's like, at least he's handsome. I don't understand this point. Anyway. So we're going to be doing the Underlying Darkness and Ghost Eater mystery. The interesting thing about this is that both of them share the same thing. So they both share the same, like, clues. So we're going to do them in order, but before I continue onward, let's see the report on the Huntsman. It contains a collection of evidential articles relating to the Huntsman. Cool. Let's go see the reports of the Ghost Eater and Uravesa and the Orb, I believe is the other one. So it contains a collection of evidential articles relating to the soul-devouring creature inside the Orb. Interesting that it says real thing. Anyway. Contains a collection of evidential articles. This book contains a collection of evidential articles relating to Uravesa and the Orb under the Arnscar family Barrow. Alright, so we're going to go read these together because, again, they are both a part of the same thing, which is weird. I have enough clues to unveil the Ghost Eater. The Ghost Eater, or Pale Entity, as Uravesa refers to it, is a mysterious monster with supernatural abilities and an insatiable hunger for souls. The creature was bound to the Orb of Exanimation and trapped inside, although it's unknown whether or not it ever truly wanted to leave with the large stream of souls it had been fed. The creature projects its realities or dream worlds into its victims' minds through psychotic projections. See, I'm not going to go too far with this because I've already made my ramblings kind of thing of this. But is psychotic in this, like, in this sense, actually, like, does it actually make sense in this case? I think that psychological makes more sense. So let me reread the sentence. Instead of saying psychotic, I'll say psychological. The creature projects its realities or dream worlds into its victims' minds through psychological projections of terrible things happening. It makes more sense than saying through psychotic projections, because it doesn't make much sense. If it says through delusions only, through delusions of terrible things happening, maybe, but psychotic projections don't really make much sense to me. If a victim dies within the orb's radius, then the Ghost Eater can snare the soul. Once a soul, the Ghost Eater tenderizes its victims by tormenting them or luring them into a false sense of security, offering promises of eternal rest in afterlife. So, okay, the thing that's confusing me is once a soul, and then the Ghost Eater. I understand you put the comma here to separate the soul and the Ghost Eater, but the problem is that even if you were to make this into a run-on sentence, it doesn't make sense. Like, once a soul, the Ghost Eater tenderizes its victim. See, that doesn't make any sense. Unless it's supposed to say once a soul is snared, the Ghost Eater tenderizes its victims. See, that makes more sense to me. I don't know. Its dream worlds are always the same, pure white stonework, curtains, and laden with portraits of itself. Nothing is known about the creature's origin. but it has a twisted sense of vanity. It also dresses itself and manifests its world like a divine being. So we've already seen something like this. So its dream worlds are always the same pure white stonework. If you've seen the maze, if you've seen that long hallway sometimes that we've seen, even before the dream sequence, you'll see that it has something similar to that. So we've seen that happen before. Now that I know that there's actually a back button, I didn't remember beforehand. There we go. All right, so I have enough clues to put together a report on Urvessa and the Orb of Exanimation. Urvessa. Okay, now I'm getting confused. You have two different spellings in the same pretty much area. So Urvessa is here. And then you have Urvessa here. You even have it here. Did you just forget to put an A here? Okay, I'm just gonna say Urvessa then. An ambitious mage would dream of a ruthless, terror-filled destiny. She ventured to Akavir. Oh, okay, this is another thing that I got confused of too. Is it supposed to be Akavir? Or is it supposed to be Akivir? So I'm just gonna say Akivir, but if it's supposed to be Akavir, yeah. And recover the Orb of Exanimation, an object that could store an immense amount of souls, exude psychological influences. See, this is where I changed, where I got the word for this instead of the psychotic. Was I looked at this and I saw psychological, and I'm like, that's the word I was thinking of. And even raise the dead. She would bring this orb to the bottom of the Gerald Mountains. Like a parasite, she nested right below the Arnscar family burrow and begun her dark work. She activated that orb and cast a shroud over County Bruma, driving the locals insane in an effort to spread death and collect their souls. It even suggests that she also infiltrated Castle Bruma as a doppelganger of a caretaker named Agna. Agna, wait. Could this be the person that we saw during the memory? Like, you know, when we talked to what is it? When we leave the castle, when we go down the ramp a little bit, we talk to an NPC and it says they're a caretaker or something. Could that be? Wait. I might have a save for that. Where? I do. It's right here. Okay. So let's go take a look at that after then. Where is it? Agna, okay. Agna, where she could then cloud the minds of the ruling court and purge all the evidence kept in the lockup archive. Any record of the disappearances were destroyed, and people seemingly forgot over time, except those like Felonius, who was a small child at the time and of his father's passing. Cool. So this one it has a very interesting thing where it has an item as one of the evidences. So we can't really do anything with that, unfortunately. So we can't really read the potion. Maybe we can activate it and do something? No? No? Weird. Interesting. The other one, just want to make sure that they're all under, okay, so they're all under the one section. Good. All right, so now we have to go through analysis of the pale entity. There's a nameless creature of unknown origin trapped within the orb. Okay, I want to put a pause here for a second. I thought maybe I misread it, maybe I misinterpreted what she meant by it, but the way that the text was written, or the way that I understood it, was that she put Urvessa put the Ghost Eater in the in the orb itself. That's the way that I interpreted it as. But the way that it seems is that that's not true. Because I thought she said she put the creature in, but she didn't know how it would work, so she put something else in there as more of a proxy. And something and then she was able to identify what was going on or something like that. Back to the analysis. Through my studies, I've determined that it was not spawned by the orb, but rather was trapped inside at some point. It is a tormented creature that manifests vanity, and has an insatiable eternal hunger for souls. I hatched a plan to study this creature by inserting a captured soul of my own into the orb. I link myself to this soul and use it as a sort of proxy as it traverses the realm of the pale entity. After 50 or so trials, I've seen many fascinating trends, some notable observations. Number 1, the entity will always manifest its world with the color white involved. This is applied to all manner of things, especially portraits, stonework, hallways, and curtains, just to name a few. Number 2, the entity has an obsession with hanging portraits all around its reality. I have come to believe that these portraits depict the entity itself. The portraits display a feeling of dominion, but the creature wants you to believe that it is a sign of security, or it could just be a reminder to all interlopers to obey or be consumed. It's not clear to me that the creature has a form either, but it chooses to depict itself in a full suit of white armor, face obscured, with 2 swords in its possession, one with a blue hilt and one with a reddish-pink hilt. I actually did notice this during our boss fight, where one of the, don't know if it's timed, maybe, like if it has like half of its HP, it changes weapons, maybe. But at some point, I noticed the hilt of the sword while we were fighting it, and I did notice that it had like a reddish, like a reddish glow. It kind of reminds me of, if you've actually ever got these weapons in Oblivion, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you've ever actually seen a fine steel weapon,